Welcome to the LFG Pats Pod with your hosts, Joe and Mike. Let's go!
I'm sure you just put a blurb out. And
all right. Welcome into the LFG Pats Pod. And, you know, Mike, I wish we were in better situation right now. But you know what? We're playing with house money, man. So it is what it is. Welcome, everybody, to episode 38. We're going to lick our wounds a little bit, talk about the Bills game. There's a lot to unpack there, a lot of injury news, a lot of, Bills fans that are really, they're running the gamut right now. They say it's not a big deal, but that was a big deal for them. I don't care what anybody says.
They were shaking in their booties. I don't care what they say now.
Yeah, no, and they that first half was not good for them, but they made up for it. So we got that to talk about. We got the absolutely massive game this Sunday night. And Mike and I have some worries. We got some worries to go over. We got some interesting things to talk about, whether it's coaching, injuries, game plan for this team, you name it. A lot of things to go over. Before we get into that, though, let's just hit on the sponsors. So Horizon HVAC, guys, I'm telling you, it's freezing cold right now. We're actually getting a little bit of a warm front, so it's actually a good time. Get your system checked out.
This is the only day. Yesterday,
I think there's like 2 days. We got like 2 days of like 40s, high 40s, and maybe even low 50s. So, guys, get your stuff checked out. It's about to be the dead of winter. We've already had a little taste. Get your HVAC systems checked out. The silver package, Horizon HVAC has it. They come out, they check everything out. Mike Cesaroni, guy's an animal. His wife's amazing too. They both Mike Sheet TV, I think, is their Instagram, and they put out some of the funniest couple videos I've ever seen. But yeah, Horizon HVAC, great service, great products. These guys are honest. To me, that's what I look for, right? Who's honest? Who's going to come and do a good job? Who can I trust? Horizon HVAC is the answer. Rogue Island Kitchen and Bar. We've said numerous things about these guys. The food. I went to high school, college, played football with Ryan Bissett, 402 for life. But no, it's honestly some of the best food in the Rhode Island area, in the New England area. Honestly, it rivals almost everywhere that I've been to. When it comes to new American cuisine, the guy puts a Southern twist on all kinds of good food. Great apps, great beers, awesome scenery, just kind of great right in the heart of Providence. Check it out, Rogue Island Kitchen and Bar. We will be planning a playoff event. We're still kind of in talks, so look out for that. We'll be giving out some cool stuff, and we'll be hosting another live podcast there as well. So, Mike, let's commiserate. Let's commiserate together.
Let's conversate. Let's pontificate. How about that?
Yes, pontificate, commiserate, all the eights.
We're gonna have a good old fashioned parlay. We're gonna parlay up in this mother.
Walk me through Mike's feelings per quarter. Quarter one, how are you feeling, Mike?
On top of the world, baby. Everything was clicking. It's just, we could go quarter by quarter, but the bottom line is there's a theme developing with this team. And we all know what it is from half to half. And we've gotten away with it because we played, just like everybody said, a weaker schedule. And those mistakes haven't come back to bite us in the second half. We've managed to pull through those. But it's a consistent pattern with this team right now. And we went up against a buzzsaw, and they showed us exactly what was what. And it's disappointing on a couple different levels. There's some things to be encouraged about, but the fact that they still haven't figured out how to adjust to the second half, the trend here is just, it's too consistent to not be alarming and not, have to take a good look at just what on earth is going on from first half to second half with these guys, and why do they keep falling off and they fade down the stretch? And it has to do with a lot of different things. It has to do with the defense. Obviously, we got Gash. We're going to talk about the defensive performance, but also Drake May. It seemed like he locked up in the second half, and he played terribly. He looked awful. We couldn't move the ball at all. If we didn't have that one Travion run that was supposed to be stuffed, and he just happened to be an otherworldly athlete and bounced the other way, if it wasn't for that, we had nothing in the second half at all. And is it a wake-up call? Yes, because you can't – if you pull that shit in the playoffs against any team that's in the playoffs, you're going to lose the football game. So I'm alarmed because I see a trend in what's going on in the second half of these games. Both the offense and defense aren't adjusting properly, and teams, they end up eventually figuring out what they're going to do. And apparently we don't have – the wherewithal to change that or make adjustments. Josh McDaniels used to be the best in the league at making adjustments at the second at halftime for the second half. It doesn't seem to be the case that way. And the defense is the same way. The defense gets exposed more in the second half now. So is it a coaching issue? Is it a fatigue issue? I mean, is the battle of attrition this much where guys are just so overworked they can't perform to their capabilities? But it does speak to a certain trend, and there's a couple of other trends that are a little bit concerning that we'll talk about as well. But this particular one is a little bit alarming. So, I mean, there's a lot of positives to take out of it. I saw some good football, don't get me wrong. And look, it was 35-31, okay? We didn't get blown out. It was a barn burner, for crying out loud. Unfortunately, the Bills were just burning the barn way more and way later than us, but 35-31 is respectable. They did give them a good fight, but we all saw the mistakes that were made out there, and we're all looking for them to correct that moving forward because they have to close this. It's this next upcoming game, which we'll talk about, is paramount to how the rest of their season is going to go. And I'm talking about the end of season and the postseason as well, because they're going to be in the postseason, and we're hoping they make noise. So this is going to be an incredibly important game to get back right in prime time against a solid opponent. I know the Ravens struggled massively early on in the season, but they've been coming around, so they're not to be taken lightly. So yeah, it's a blow. It's a big blow. People can say what they want to say, what they've been saying all year long. Oh, we haven't played anybody. And guess what? Now they get to kind of gloat a little bit.
They're vindicated to an extent, right? They are.
Because as soon as we ran into, that's why it was an important game for us. As soon as we ran into the Bills, that was the buzzsaw, and if we could do that, we could shut everybody up. All it means right now is that these guys have a lot more work to do. They know it. They're highly aware of it. They're very in tune to it. They're way more in tune to it than I am, so I'm sure they're working their ass off to try to get things right. But no, it's a blow. It's a blow no matter what, no matter how you slice it. But moving forward, I think we still have a very positive road up ahead as long as we bounce back properly. But yeah, you can't really, I don't know, you can't overstate the disappointment that I had when we, I mean, if we got beat from the jump, it would have been one thing, but we got just punched in the gut, basically, after we had that. I was like, in the first half, I was like, they can't move the ball. They can't do anything. And then the second half, it was just a completely different story. And our defense crapped its pants, and Drake May couldn't make a play. So it's a tale of two halves. And I don't know, Joe. It shook my confidence a little bit, especially in light of the people saying, oh, well, they can't win against a good team. So that's why
it's important.
It's so important, this Ravens game, to show somebody we can beat a good team. That's basically the bottom line.
We've yet to play, and this is very difficult to say for a team that was, that is what, 11-3 at this point. To be able to say you're 11-3 and your team still hasn't played 60 minutes of football, right? And that's a valid statement, right? That's a valid statement from week
It's
one
encouraging to
up
a certain
point.
degree, you know.
It is. And I think the really interesting part is we went 9 weeks, roughly 9-10 weeks, where our team came out and it was a running joke in all of the text chats that I'm in and all the different areas that we're in where we talk to people, fans that watch the game religiously. We started out slow. Oh, here we go, the slow start. And then, sure enough, midway through the second quarter, we wake up. Second half, we blow the doors off teams. Now, granted, like you said, some of these are lower teams that really don't have much figured out. But yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. Is the encouraging thing to me is this team hasn't played a full 60 minutes of football. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen them do it on both sides of the ball. Special teams, I've never seen us in the second half get beat in all 3 phases of the game. It's unbelievable to see Ray Davis just absolutely flip the field and start out
on the special teams, man.
The special teams, and then obviously we're seeing it in the chat, right? Joe Such and Efrod over here, they're calling out no Milton Williams, no Spillane. 100%. I mean, and the Bills had injuries too, though. That's the other part of this. And this is where I do believe there's a player side to this for sure, but I also believe there's a coaching side to this as well. Because like you were saying, we were one of the best second half adjustment teams in the entire league those first 9 or 10 weeks. And then, so what happened? Did Joe Brady just out-duel Zach Kerr in the second half? I mean, obviously you don't have Spillane, you don't have Williams. Carlton Davis was playing banged up towards the end there. I think he got pulled late in the game.
I think it was a combination of all of those things, Joe, to be honest with you. Not having Spillane out there was, I mean, we made fun of him at the beginning of the season because he was missing tackles, but he buckled it up really quick, and he's been a stalwart. He's been the linchpin of that defense this whole entire time. And Jack Gibbons stepped into that role, and let's face it, he did not perform up to Robert Spillane's standards. And Robert Spillane was caught today in a walking boot, so he didn't practice, obviously, so he's still hurt. We need that guy. And it's a little bit scary because our depth is
razor thin.
Defensive end is a little bit scary. I mean, Carlton Davis goes down, and then you have Charles Woods is his replacement. Charles Woods.
We can't be seeing big snaps. It's a recipe for
disaster. He's a career journeyman special teams guy. He has no business on the boundary covering the number 2. So it just speaks to the lack of depth there, and it really hurts because we have our 2 and 3. Him and Marcus Jones did not participate. Marcus Jones, we've said it all season long how integral he is to the whole.
He's a linchpin. He's a linchpin to that defense.
Absolutely.
Between him and Spillane, they're like the heart and soul of that defense. The other thing that I think is really important here, Mike, is in this Bills game, our 2 top tacklers were corners and safeties. That's a problem. That's a not sustainable. Stack that up against Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson,
you're screwed.
We'll be lucky to not get absolutely.
That's a 15-yard gain every time. If Derrick Henry gets to the second level, it's a 15-yard gain every time.
It's over before it started. And then just the cherry on top, and these guys are saying in the chat, and I'm with them. The refs, and that was, I never want to blame a loss on refs, but at the same time, you have one of the worst, literally the worst offensive line penalty team in the league, not having a single offensive line penalty, which is it's astonishing. It's fishy. We all know the calls, the Carlton Davis hold, the Matt Collins no call pick.
Where he got muckled? Is that what you mean?
He got absolutely muckled on the sideline.
When Marcus Jones made the
pick, he
made the damn pick, for crying. Can we take 1 second on that? He made he caught the ball, man.
It's
he
absurd.
caught the ball. And the
You
guy
got to call it the
second-
same. You have to call it the same. If you're going to call that, then you can't call the other one. If you're going to call that, then you have to call the Matt Collins one, right? So as long as there's some consistency, I don't care. I don't really give a shit. But that was just that was the icing on the top. That was like the cherry on top of the whole thing. But at the end of the day, these guys didn't play for a whole half. Like you said, outside of the Travion Henderson busted play where, like you said, the guy's a track star. And you got Drake May busting his ass for almost 20 and a half miles per hour up the, lead blocking. It's just two athletes that just make a freak play. Outside of that, you got drop balls by Hunter Henry, a lack of separation in general. Diggs was completely taken out of the game to an extent. They had no Christian Benford.
That was frustrating. That was really
very frustrating. I expected him to take over that game. So there's a lot more questions than answers at this point. I think personally, it's a big wake-up call to this team. And like you said, I think it is a combination of answers, right? It's the coaching. You got out-coached. You got out-coached in the second half, flat out. Joe Brady had a great game plan coming into that second half. I don't know if they were holding back. Were they holding back and observing?
I don't know. But we haven't been able to say that all year. We thought their coaching was brilliant up until now.
I know. And defensively, same thing. Defensively, they kept us guessing. They kept us on edge. And we just weren't able to separate. We weren't able to make plays. We weren't able to make big plays downfield. We end the game on a 4-and-out with a ton of time left on the clock with a Hunter Henry critical drop. Like it was just this team didn't want to play in the second half. I'm convinced.
At that point, when they were trying to do the game-winning drive or whatever, I knew that they weren't going to make it because Drake didn't have it. You can tell sometimes when that kid has it and when he doesn't have it. Like earlier in his career or earlier in the season when he floats balls early, you're like, all right, he doesn't have it right now. And then you wait for him to settle down. In this game, he did the exact opposite. He came out, settled down, and got unraveled toward the end, which is a very disturbing trait, to be quite honest with you. Now, this kid, if anybody can learn off of his mistakes, it's him. He has learned off of his mistakes, and that's why he's been so good all season long. And I know that he's going to kick himself for this, and he's going to learn from this mistake too. But it's just a reminder of what people say about, him being a front runner for the MVP. And now all of a sudden, just because of that one game, now all of a sudden, Josh Allen's name has skyrocketed to the top of the odds based on that one game, and Drake's not doing so good in that department. But I don't know what people actually thought. Like, was Drake really an MVP candidate, like, at all, ever? Because he's never thrown for 300 yards, and he seems to make mistakes, especially in this past game. So was he a fake MVP favorite, or do you think he was legitimately one of the best quarterbacks in the league?
I think he's absolutely deserved to be in the conversation, but like everything else, the MVP especially matters how you finish. You can't just start out red blazing hot. Same goes for all these awards, right? O'Roy, right? If I would have said to you Travion Henderson was going to be O'Roy in week 7, right? You would have said, well, he's shown some promise, but it's Emeka Egbuka, and it's not even close. Well, Emeka Egbuka since has absolutely cooled off and absolutely done nothing. And Travion is a world beater when it comes to that award. Like there's no one that's even close to him, in my opinion. He's on pace for a Jahmyr Gibbs-esque rookie season, and he might even crush him from a rushing yards perspective and a rushing touchdowns perspective. I think Jahmyr Gibbs had like 60 catches, so he's not going to touch that. But he's going to have
Travion's last 7 games. He's had 620 yards rushing and like 7 touchdowns.
Exactly,
and that's in 7 games. That's like
he's scorching hot. He's had 4 50+ yard running touchdowns, which
is tied for like all time.
People have ever had in one season, not even rookie seasons. So yeah, no, this is the sentiment, right? This is how the NFL works. And that's what I think about Drake May. You're only when you're being looked at in that microcosm of MVP, you are looked at a microscope in every single game. And the later the games are, the bigger the games are. Well, guess what? That microscope only gets a little bit more intense. So to me, I think he's absolutely still in the conversation. But he's got a lot more to prove now because really he's only got one big game left. You got this Sunday night game. This is your MVP season, and I don't even give a shit about MVP, to be honest. I'd rather us have a better outlook. I'd rather us go deeper into the playoffs, go to the Super Bowl, right? All these other things. But this game is what's going to make or break his MVP season. The next game, you got the Jets, which is a complete dumpster fire.
They're starting their third string guy, whichever guy started last week. They're starting him this week, and Fields and Taylor are both backups. And in Miami, they benched Tua, and they're going with Quinn Ewers.
Exactly.
So for our last two games, we're facing literally number 3.
You're getting zero respect. I don't care if you throw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns in those games. You are getting zero respect. I mean, not
that's
for
what
me.
We have to win in Baltimore, bro.
You have to, if you want to see an MVP Drake May season, you have to finish this game empathetically, and you have to win the game for that to even be it. And in the discussion for me, I'm taking Stafford or Josh Allen at this point above.
I wouldn't take Drake May as MVP. I just wouldn't do that. Like I said, he's never thrown for 300 yards.
I don't care about that as much. I think
he just hasn't been super consistent as far as I'm concerned. And the numbers
the team hasn't, and I agree. He's the leading, the front runner of the team. So obviously, if the team hasn't, then he hasn't. I mean, he needs to play 60 minutes of football. If you got players around him dropping balls and you got tackles not being made, but like you said, he's throwing for 300 yards and the team around him's falling apart, fine. But when he falls apart, the team falls apart as well. So we've always said this. We're going to go as far as Drake May takes us. So I think if he's playing at his peak level for 60 minutes, which there's only a few people at the quarterback position that can play at an elite level that long. And one of them is, let's face it, Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady, he played from whistle to whistle nonstop with that same intensity. He'd, score a touchdown. He'd be chewing people out right after he scored a touchdown, chewing people out on the sidelines. Like, this guy never had a chill moment in his game. So I would like to see that. I would like to see that fire and intensity from Drake May. But again, I think the whole team just fell flat coming out that second half. And it was, it was funny. I was doing the Chappelle show meme with the guy itching his neck and going, can I get some of those slow starts? I never thought I'd be wishing for that slow start. But it was, let me get some of that slow start, man. Come on. Because honestly, I would rather start out slow at this point. If you're looking at it and saying, well, we're going to come out and score 20 points, but then we're not going to do shit in the second half. And oh, by the way, our defense isn't either. Give me the slow start. I don't care. Let's finish strong. I mean,
I agree. Closing out games is the way to championships. Closing out games is more important than opening up games.
Look at the Broncos. Look at all these teams. Yeah.
Well, how many times was Tommy down by 10 points in the first half and you were not afraid at all in any way whatsoever? We were down 24-14. You're like, this ain't shit. Like, he can definitely obviously get this back. And now we're in that situation where earlier in the season, if that was the case, I would have said the same thing about Drake May. Oh, this ain't shit, man. He's going to come right back to it. But the fact that he hasn't completely evolved all the way through to this point of the season, as far as the choppiness of his game, we can't really say that anymore. But by the same token, the kid's 23 years old.
Right.
So you have to take into consideration that these lumps that these kids take, they're going to bear a mark on them, especially Drake May. He resents every mistake and he tries to learn from it. And Josh McDaniels talks about it all the time. He's like, the kid's obsessed with correcting his own mistakes. And it's like, well, that's what you should be if you're a franchise quarterback. But he's apparently incredibly committed to doing that, just like Tommy did. So 23 years old, and he's already going through all this trial by fire. I don't know. The future sets up pretty nice from where I'm looking.
I'm with you. I think I see this post all the time where they say the NFL has a quarterback development problem. I 100% stand by that. You have the Sam Darnolds, you have the Baker Mayfields. Look at Trevor Lawrence. I mean, how close
it took him a while, but he's playing well now.
How close were the Jaguars to giving up on him? Now you got Liam Cohen, you got a bunch of people around them. They're a playoff team, and they have just as much of a reason to win the Super Bowl as anybody. I don't care what anybody says.
Cohen, Hendricken alum, that kid.
That's right. Yep, Rhode Island native.
Yep,
so
exactly.
It what it comes down to in this league is, and this is like the far side, the far prism of 23-year-old has shown tremendous promise. And then you get the guys like Trevor Lawrence who have went extremely rocky. He's in what, year 4 or 5? 4?
21, 22, 23, 24, 5. This should be year 5, I think.
Year 5. So, but what it comes down to is this league with quarterbacks is very unforgiving. And that's just how it goes. I mean, it's just you are expected to come out and just start to be a superstar, and whether you're Jaden Daniels or you're Caleb Williams. But guess what? You need kind of a little bit of a dome around these guys, and that dome has to be curated with like a great teammate, great teammates, great linemen, great coaching, right? All these things have to be like surrounding these guys, or it can fall apart at any moment. So I do think he will pull through it. I think this is all good timing, given that we're being tested right now, versus who knows, we could be a 14-3 team, eke by in some of these games and not be tested, and then get woken up by the Texans or somebody in the playoffs. So I think this team, we're getting to see what this team is made out of. I do think they like we've talked about, they haven't played a true 60-minute game. And to me, that's when we'll see what this team's made out of, right? When we see them completing every snap for 60 minutes straight. It's very hard to do in the NFL, but when this team does that, and we have these guys coming back from injury, I think the sky's the limit still. It's just the road is going to be tougher now, right? I'll spoil it right now. We're going to lose to the Ravens this Sunday. That's a loss. Man. We're going to lose to the Ravens this Sunday. So we'll get to predictions and everything. And then we're going to win the last 2 games, right? I mean, I think that's a foregone conclusion. We're going to be 13-4 at that point. And we're going to be, probably playing someone like the Texans, right? Probably playing someone like the Texans, maybe the Bills. Who knows how this whole thing shakes out? But we're going to have an instant test. We're going to get Milton Williams back. We're going to get Will Campbell back. We got Jared Wilson, hopefully Spillane. Hopefully we're almost full strength. And hopefully by then this team realizes, oh shit, I got to get on this field and I can't get off of it until my job's done. Cause that's what it comes down to, Mike. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. They, I mean, this is a brutal stretch run for them, even though those 2 games are imminently winnable. Those last 2 games, like you said, they still have to show that they can play a complete game. I'm more optimistic about the Ravens game. I think that they'll pull it out, but I would not be surprised if it went either way. But it's going to further validate everybody else's doubt in this team. So that's going to put even more pressure on them to dominate those last 2 weeks of the season, the Jets and the Dolphins. And then when it comes to the playoffs, it's anybody's ball game. I'd like to think that we could get like a favorable seed and have a home playoff game. But you never know how it's going to work out. So I'm just Right now, I'm a little bit at a loss because I didn't like what I saw last week. And I don't know if it's just because of Robert Spillane's injury and Drake May's indecision in the second half. Is it just that, or was it coaching had to do some of it, or
Yeah.
what exactly needs to happen? Like the special teams took a huge step back. So what exactly can these guys clean up right now that they really fumbled on? And they don't have time to collect that quickly because they got the Ravens coming up. So I understand like your position on it about how they might not pull it through, but I'm saying if they don't, then it's official. People are already starting to question the Patriots. If they lose to the Ravens, the questions are going to be full blown. It's going to be full out. Oh, these guys officially can't really beat anybody. And then
Here's
we have to go through a couple weeks of frustration for them to hopefully beat those
oh
last two
it
teams.
I'm not worried about the sentiment as much as I'm worried about how we if we do lose, how we lose. I don't
Yeah.
mind if we go back and forth and it's a battle and right and where it's a competitive game and we're knocking them around, they're knocking us around. It's chippy, right? Um, if we lose, if Lamar Jackson ends up with the ball in his hands with 40 seconds, they drive it down the field, 30 yards, some tough plays, and they kick a long field goal with Tyler Loop or something, right? I'm not going to feel that bad. I'm going to be like, you know what? We played that team tough. That's the Ravens. They're playing for their season, right? This team is, like you said, they started out super shaky, and now they're coming on. So to me, that would be a moral victory to me, where it's like I want to see this team start the game hot, come out banging, making plays, getting the ball downfield. Maybe they're not scoring a ton of points, but I like to see them more even keel throughout the whole game versus coming out hot and then laying a dud, or coming out laying a dud and then ending hot. To me, it's just like, let's be consistent. Let's play the game like it's meant to be played, where you're, getting 6-7 yards a clip and, long sustaining drives. On the defensive side of the ball, not letting up big plays. Again, it could be a long, sustained drive for the Ravens, but you're not giving up massive plays. There's not big, glaring holes. You're not just giving up 7 yards a carry. These tight ends. What's up with these tight ends, Mike? These tight ends are just running amok. They're wide open, whether it's Dawson Knox, Kincaid, forget the third string tight end, but every single one of them was hurting us for big yards. Wide open.
I hate to tell you, man, but I mean, because we like this kid, but it's Craig Woodson's fault. That's his responsibility. Specifically, that's his responsibility. Marcus Jones will take them in a pinch, but he's usually matched up on a slot guy, and Craig Woodson is the tight end coverer. And they picked him specifically because he was better at covering tight ends than Kyle Duggar, which is true. But he got exposed the other day numerous amounts of times. Our safety play was not stellar. Jalen Hawkins got abused a couple of times too. And that's another thing. Like right now, the sum is greater than the whole of its parts, because those two safeties would be trash on another team. But because they're in a certain system and they have the boundary corners with them and a solid front seven, they're acquitting themselves nicely. But it was those guys gave up at least 3 of the touchdowns yesterday. I don't know the exact number, but Jalen Hawkins and Craig Woodson, and it was Craig Woodson's fault every time a tight end made a catch. So that's rookie pains. But guess what? That's also a coaching decision.
100%.
They went way out of their way to make sure that Craig Woodson was going to be a star on this team. And we know that by the way they unceremoniously did what my 2 favorite safeties on the team, Jabril Peppers and Duggar, the guys that I thought were going to be linchpins. Now they're not there. Now they can't cover tight ends any better than Craig Woodson. I'm not saying that, but he's not covering them better than they did either. So it was his fault I blame him. I blame Jack Gibbons and Christian Ellis for a lot of it too. Christian Ellis flies around the field and he hits hard, but he gets caught out of position. They ask him to cover a little more than what I think he's capable of. And Jack Gibbons just isn't as mobile as Robert Spillane, and he's his direct backup. He had the green helmet. He was calling the plays. He's just not as mobile or as heady as a Robert Spillane. He's just not as good of a player, and they got exposed that way because I think sometimes he made the wrong call based on the blocking scheme, and he hit the wrong hole a couple times in the running game, which led them to get like 5, 6, 7 yards at a clip, which you hate seeing that on first down. When the opponent gets like 6 yards on first down running, you don't like it, okay? And it happened a lot of times, and I think the Spillane loss did have a lot to do with that. But these are guys that are handpicked. Vrabel went way out of his way to handpick these guys. He got rid of a bunch of other guys so these guys could play. Like I just said, the 2 safeties are gone, so Woodson can play. He got rid of Juwan Bentley so a guy like Jack Gibbons can play, and those guys got exposed. So the Vrabel way only worked so much, and he invested so much on this defense, but he's still going to continue to have to invest. They have a lot of salary cap. He's going to have to continue to invest in that defense because Craig Woodson, as versatile and as solid as he's been, I'm not so sure he's the answer to covering tight ends. They don't have that person on the roster that's capable of covering tight ends, and that's kind of a problem.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I think when you look at the matchup coming up this week, right, you got Isaiah Likely, who's a complete matchup nightmare.
This is going to be a problem, dude.
Yep. You got Mark Andrews,
who just signed a new contract. He's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere, and he's a matchup problem. You got Zay Flowers, who's really not a great matchup for Gonzalez. Carlton Davis is
he's shifty.
Up.
They need to put Marcus Jones on Zay Flowers. I swear to God, they need to friggin' mirror him, and then Gonzo can take the biggest guy.
Bateman. You can take Bateman and Hopkins.
Exactly.
And so and then you got Derrick Henry, and between Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, with Spillane in a walking boot, which you can only think low or the dreaded high ankle sprain.
I don't like it.
I don't think we see him. I don't think we're going to have Spillane. We're not going to have Milton Williams, obviously.
That's going to hurt. It's
going to hurt. Tonga looked almost pedestrian against the Bills, which is really crazy to say.
I don't think he's completely back. I think he's still kind of banged up a little bit.
Yeah, we are not in a good spot to have Derrick Henry come in for us to go into Baltimore and face Derrick Henry. When he gets the ball 18 to 20 times, he makes you pay for it. And it's not going to be pretty between him and Lamar Jackson. We don't do well at containing quarterbacks, although that was one of the bright spots of the Bills game with Josh Allen. We did a pretty good job of containing him. Now he did stay in the pocket and carve us up. So there's that. Yeah. And then James Cook had his way as well. So, but that is one thing that, maybe we can contain Lamar Jackson from running. But if our safeties are doing what they're doing, if our corners are doing what they're doing, and if the refs are doing what they're doing in the Bills game, we're going to have a hell of a time against this Ravens offense. And their defense is coming on. That's the other scary part. They just shut out the Bengals. They shut out. Now, granted, Joe Burrow is in a whole nother Andrew Luck world of I don't want to play football anymore. It seems like he's checked out. And I don't blame him because he's been hurt a lot and he's, part of the Bengals organization. But that's a very demoralized team. But a shutout in the NFL is a shutout, man.
Exactly. And Derrick Henry is bigger than every single linebacker that we have rostered right now.
100%.
So, and especially if Spillane's not in there, they're going to friggin' blast him right down our teeth. And I'm not sure that we're going to be able to stop it. The difference I had no idea how good of a run defender Milton Williams was until he went out. Because he didn't do a lot of that in Philly. He was mostly an interior reduced down pass.
He was a package guy. He was a special package guy.
But the guy is so friggin' robust against the run. We had the best running defense in the league, and then he went down. Now we're like in the middle of the pack all of a sudden.
And he up levels Barmore big time, right?
Oh yeah, for sure, because
Big time.
he's getting the double teams, and Barmore can do stuff. Barmore's been a little bit underwhelming, man. He hasn't shown as much. I thought he was going to step up a little bit more than he has. It shows that you're right. He needed Milton Williams in order to actually make noise.
And I think the same would be true if Barmore was out there and Milton Williams was too, because we haven't seen Milton Williams without a Jalen Carter or a Barmore. So this is where you take them away from these like marquee players, and who are they without the other one? This is, I'm not saying this is like Brady Belichick, right? But like, how does this one work without the other? And I guess we did see Brady without Belichick. But this is different, right? This is interior line, like you said. You can't double team both of them, but when you just have one, you can always double team one of them, right?
And that now Barmore's getting those double teams, and he can't do nothing with it.
Well, and it also does a lot to your fatigue as well, right? If you're constantly getting double teamed, it's going to wear on you. You're not going to have the same stamina that you are if you get half the time or 40 or 30% of the times double teamed, because those one-on-one matchups, if they get one-on-ones too often, they're going to win, more than 50% of the time. So they have to double these guys.
And Barmore's his snap share has actually decreased since Milton Williams has been out, because they have to give him more rest. And they put those other guys in, the Joshua Farmers and the Corey Durdens. They put those guys in to give him a blow, because he's getting crushed every time he goes down there, because nobody else next to him can do shit.
Yep. Yeah, so it's gonna be tough sledding. This Ravens team, I think they should have beat the Steelers 2 weeks back. They
how is that? How do the Steelers keep staying like afloat? That's what I want to know.
It's unbelievable.
It's not that good.
Mike Tomlin teeters right on relevant and irrelevant every single year for the past
8-8, 8-8, 8-8. Just staying right at 500. I guess is a good way to keep your job, but I just can't believe that they keep winning games, because they don't look like a very quality team. But then again, they beat us, so I guess I don't have too much to talk about. But that was a long time ago.
We've come a long way since that game. I think, looking at it, the mistakes have gone down, the fumbling, right, the picks. I think we are maturing as a team. I think that's part of what's going on. But we're also losing players to injury. We haven't figured out how to maintain that level of intensity the whole game. So there's definitely areas we can improve. And I just hope that we can figure it out this season. I do still believe we're playing with house money. I mean, this season's a win no matter what. A lot of people are hating, saying, oh, well, if you don't do something in the playoffs and the whole thing's a wash. It's like, guys, please, you wish you were where our team is.
Exactly.
At the end of the season, you're going to wish these Dolphins and Jets and all these sorry-ass organizations that are looking at blowing it up. Well, we're not looking at blowing it up. We're looking at making some moves for sure through the draft, long-term answers. We're not looking for quick wins. This team is going to build over the next few years, and we're well beyond where we thought we would be. So
we're way better equipped than any other quote unquote rebuilding team in the league. Like, you can't even call this a rebuild. It's a soft rebuild, sure, but the point is, we have the most salary cap space in the friggin' league, bro.
And some of the most picks. Some of the most picks.
We have like 11 picks, something like that. Yeah. And we have a rookie quarterback under rookie contract control. And we have Mike Vrabel. And we have a team that started out the way it did. And that is definitely going to make the playoffs. This is going to be a draw. People are going to be like, oh, this player's coach. This guy used to be a baller. We freaking love shit like that. We respect guys like that. We're coming in. So who even knows what his next free agency class is going to look like? It might be
Justin Jefferson. It could be Justin Jefferson. It could be AJ Brown. It could be,
and the way they drafted, the way they drafted so well, why would we expect that to change next year? If their philosophy, I completely aligned with their philosophy with what they were doing. So therefore, I have complete faith in their draft acumen this next coming off season as well. So this team is set up better than any other team, any other quote unquote rebuilding team in the league. But then again, which teams are dynasty established franchises in the league right now? You don't have them. The Chiefs are done, dude. The Eagles look terrible. So you don't have that massive hierarchy in the league anymore. So we're building momentum at a much greater clip than any of these other so-called rebuilding teams. Next year, we're going to be a friggin' powerhouse just by virtue of the osmosis of getting through all the processes of getting the free agents and the draft going, and the second year under Mike Vrabel. The sky is not falling at all. It's everything's pointing up roses for this team, and I can't say that which other team has a more optimistic future than this team when it looks at the young talent and the most important things, the quarterback and the coach. Those are the two most important things for a team, and we have those on top of the salary cap space and the draft capital. So even if we don't get it done this year, which we might not, I'm not going to rule them out any given Sunday. You know what I mean? But even if they don't, the future looks bright, Joe. So we picked a good time to start a podcast to do this.
Absolutely.
Because if we did it last year or the year before, we would be so mad. We'd be mad every single week. But look at us. I'm mad that we lost this past week, but I'm still hopeful for the future that it gives me cause for optimism. But you know, you can look at the long view, which I just did, but in the short view right now, we got to stick it to the friggin' Ravens, man. We got to vote. We have to validate our season. If we beat the Ravens, I feel like it validates us a little bit. And if we don't, then everybody, all the detractors, they get to say, see, they can't beat anybody.
Again, here's what I think, Mike. As long as we play this team tough, as long as this team shows this league that they're for real by playing 60 minutes of football, granted, you can have errors, you can have stalled drives, you can have all kinds of stuff happen, right? As long as we play tough and we don't play out there like we're already defeated and their momentum is completely lost and our sales are completely are taken out from us.
As long as we don't get blown out, basically.
Well, not even blown out. I mean, as long as we maintain the game, as long as we are in the game, to me, and we're fighting down to the last second, that's to me, that will show me that this team is for real and that this team has a chance. If we do, I mean, we did it against the Giants, and we just did it against the Bills. We came out strong with the Giants, smacking people in the mouth. What did we do in the second half? We scored 3 points. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. You guys can't put a team away. You're not going to win anything. You're not going to win. You guys need to put together games. You can't do that 2 games in a row and then come into the Ravens and think that they don't need this game more than you. They do. They need this game more than most teams. Yep. So you better come ready and you better play the full fucking game. So to me, this is the litmus test of that. It's not winning, win or loss. To me, doesn't matter as much as you have to make a statement that we're a tough team. We're going to play every single whistle all the way down to the end of the game. So
it might come down to the battle of attrition, Joe. We have 5 starters. Sure. We have 5 starters that aren't playing right now, and they're pretty important guys on defense. Harold Landry hasn't been right since he initially whipped his knee several weeks ago. He hasn't been the same player. And not having him, not having Spillane, not having Milton Williams.
It might be too much. It might be too much.
That Williams and Spillane are the heart of your defense right there, right up the gut. And that's where Derrick Henry runs. So is Jack Gibbons and maybe Kairos Tonga or Corey Durden or Joshua Farmer, are they going to be able to fill that gap? You know, with
good teams, though, Mike, they find a way to win. And really good quarterbacks, MVP quarterbacks, find a way to win too. So if Drake May has to throw the ball 40-something times and 400-something yards and however many touchdowns, If he has to do that and he has that game this week, and guess what? Maybe our defense gives up a lot of points, but maybe our offense wakes the fuck up too. Who
It would be
knows?
great
Any
if you
given
could throw for
Sunday.
300 yards. I just want him to throw for 300 just once. That's all.
Just get the monkey off his back.
Yeah, he's been the most consistent. He's thrown for 200 plus yards every single game, which is like more than anybody else this season. It might be some kind of record, but don't you want to see him throw for 300?
Oh, of course.
He's had 294 and he's had like 286.
I would love nothing more than this defense gets absolutely shredded. I don't even care. You want to shred the defense because we have no players to tackle. I don't care. I want to see Drake May. I want to see Drake May putting up 40 points this week, because you know what? You can against this defense. This defense is not our
Their secondary is suspect, especially.
Their secondary is suspect. Keyshawn Boutte, Matt Collins, Diggs, Pop Douglas, Hunter Henry. All these guys should be heavily involved. I don't care. Throw the ball 40 times. This team needs to put on a clinic for all 4 quarters. Especially on the offensive side of the ball. I want to see Drake May do it. I want to see him absolutely go balls out and just say, fuck it. We're going to keep scoring and score again. Like Brady, right? Brady in the game, he'd be like, no, we're not done. We're not done scoring. We're coming back. We're scoring again. I want to see that. I want to see that fire. I want to see, because like I said, these next 2 games after this, we got the Jets and we got the Dolphins. You're not proving shit to anybody with those games. I don't care how good you do and what you do in those games. It don't matter, because your next game in the playoffs, guess what? It's going to be against a real team. It's going to be against a team that's going to smack you right in the mouth.
So that brings up an interesting point. If we beat the Ravens, I'd like to see what our playoff seeding will end up being if we just check out for the last 2 games. You know what I mean? If we just rest everybody, but we probably wouldn't win the division. We probably end up at like the 5th or 6th seed. I'd rather go for the seed. So I think they might have to just play out the string and actually try to win these games against these backup quarterbacks, which won't be that tall of an order. But boy, it would have been real fun, Joe. Like if we won this past Sunday, and we actually could have done that. We could have rested because we already won the AFC. We already been guaranteed at least the 4 seed. We would have won the AFC East. We could have rested the last 2 weeks, especially because guys getting banged up. But you can't have a perfect world. Yeah, you can't have a perfect world. You got to work with what you got. I still think they got momentum. I know they're all really pissed off about losing this game. They're chalking it up they're chalking it up as a learning experience. Let's see what happens. So good. Let's see what happens when these guys get punched in the mouth. Let's see what they do, especially against a tough opponent. So that'll go a long way in informing my decision about what their playoff chances may or may not be and how tough and resilient this team is. They say that they are. So let's see if that's actually true. So I can't wait. I can't wait for Sunday. It's going to be awesome.
I agree. This is, you know what, everyone talked about, Spillane was hurt, and we don't have Williams. We don't have Will Campbell. Well, guess what? The Bills didn't have like 7 of their starters. Offensive line, they didn't have Benford. They didn't have their starting middle linebacker.
They had Josh Allen.
And that's what's going on right now, right? We need to see a marquee primetime game from Drake May. To me,
for sure,
that's how you win this game. That's the only way you win this game. Because guess what? This defense, Milton Williams isn't showing up. These guys that we need are not showing up. They're hurt. It is what it is. You're gonna have to put the team on your back. You're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to see it. You want to be the MVP kid. You want to shake this league up and make everyone know who you are. You're gonna have to do it on primetime against some of the best teams in the league.
He's in the deep waters now, bro. There's no turning back. He's in it. He's in the whole club right there. So he's going to step up and put his big boy britches on because everybody's regarding him as what's next. So how he handles that pressure is going to be very telling. Hopefully the kid's not on social media. That's the only thing I can really say about it. He says that he's not, but they all say that they're not, and they all closetly are. So let's hope that the kid like just blocks out the noise and focuses on his job like Tommy did for so long, and he'll end up being all right. Just don't listen to the friggin' noise.
Agreed. All right, Mike, we're at that point. Let's talk predictions. What do you got?
This one is going to be. This is tough for me because I can easily see the Ravens winning a close game, but by the same token, I really am hoping, and not using my head, using my heart. I'm really hoping that they can step on the neck just to validate, them being able to beat a decent team who the Ravens weren't early in the season, but they are now. They've been coming on. So I'm going with 2017 Patriots.
Wow.
I think it's going to be a low-scoring rock fight. I would love Drake to go nuts and all that, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a struggle on both sides to get anything going. And I think the Pats are going to win with a field goal late, and then it's going to be a nail biter. But I got the Pats 2017.
I like it. I'm going to go higher because I do believe these defenses are banged up. I do believe you're going to see Drake May fired up. I'm going to go 31-28. I think you're going to see an Andy
Ravens. You got Ravens though, right?
I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go Ravens. It's going to be tough. I think you're going to see the game end potentially on Andy Borregales missing a game-tying field goal. I think you're going to see, here's what I think they're going to come out and they're going to realize the magnitude of this game. But Lamar Jackson and that team, they know they have to win this game. We feel it's a big statement game, but I do think the injuries and I think Derrick Henry is going to be extremely difficult for this team to go up against. And their defense is coming on. So they're just going to make a few more plays than us. But it's going to be a dogfight. And yeah, I think we're just going to come up a little short. But to me, that's a moral victory. So if that happens, I will be absolutely excited because that means that we can play with anybody. If we can hang with them at this point in the season, then we can play with anybody. So
I like Joe's attitude about it. He's pragmatic and practical, but always the eternal optimist, which is why I'm surprised he picked the Ravens, but I can totally see his point. And yes, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it sure would be nice. You know what I mean?
I would take that over if we get smoked and our doors blown off. That's going to be demoralizing.
Yeah, exactly.
If Drake May checks out for a half, not good.
Just stay engaged, and the better team might just pull it out. That's all. As long as we're engaged and right up there till the very end, that's all you can really ask for.
Agreed. All right. Well, it's been another fun episode, Mike. It's this season is no short of surprises. I think it's going to be this way up till the very end. I mean, there's so much crazy shit happening. You got Phillip Rivers playing football. The guy looks like he needs to be on Ozempic, maybe. Looks like he shouldn't be playing the game. Good Lord, some of those snaps he was taking.
Yes.
It's amazing. This league every week has changed. Josh Allen.
There's only 3 weeks left in the regular season.
Oh, it's wild. It's absolutely wild.
I can't believe it, man. Like, what are we going to do? We're going to be lost.
I know.
We're going to be completely lost.
It's going to feel weird. But we got the offseason. We were just talking about it today. We got the offseason. We got the draft. We got free agency, right? We haven't even talked history yet, Patriots history. Yeah, so we got some fun ideas
topics that we're going to pursue in the offseason. We will be going on in the offseason as well. So, absolutely. But I just lament the fact that the season, it just seemed to whip right by us.
I know.
And now we're right at the end, and it's like, damn, I want to savor these last 3 weeks, no matter how they shake out. Because in the playoffs, it's anybody's freaking ball game. It could die at any given time. So we got to cherish these last few weeks. But the football season, she's a fickle mistress, my friend.
She is.
Gives,
she comes, she goes.
she gives, she takes, she steals your time. She'll do it all to you if you let her. But we're on board for us. So, little lady mistress, you have us. You have our
You
attention.
have us while you have us. Exactly. All right, boys and girls. Well, thanks for tuning in. And as always, let's fucking go. I mean, that's all we can do.
LFG, we're gonna do it, baby. Let's do it.